I'm gonna guess 51 this time. Pull trigger. Gotta be 51 now. I'm gonna drag this thing in because... Ooh, something sounds bad. Something sounds real bad. What is that noise? Ooh, something's not good. Something's not happy. Yeah, something's not happy. It almost sounds like front diff. Read. 51! What I'm not liking, though, I'm not liking whatever that sound is right now. Something's up with the gears, man. This is what, third battery pack, maybe fourth? And I want to say I'm definitely not abusive to this thing. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, there goes the wheel. Oh my God. Give it a little throttle squeeze here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't actually tell. That's really a shame. Something's up. Planetary part feels good. Planetary part feels good. Or whatever the heck its setup is. But there's definitely something going on. Oh, whatever it is, it's jammed right now. Ah, this Vortex is like, seriously, a piece of garbage, man. I knew it. I mean, I obviously got a piece of crap. Yeah, I know. I guess you could say I go in and out of whether if I like this thing or not. I think it was like the best color scheme. The pink and purple. It just seemed to show up. I don't know. It just kind of looks like, maybe it actually reminds me of bubblegum, and maybe that's the reason why I chose that car. I have no idea. But what I can say is the Arrma Vortex just is an oddity, man. I can't, for me, I can't seem to put it in a place where it belongs in my collection of RC cars. So today on RC Guy Garage, we're going to make a determination on whether I turn this brand new Arrma Vortex into a parts vehicle. Do I scavenge the electronics out of it? Do I strip it down? What do I do? I do need to jump in and diag to see exactly what went wrong with this truck. This truck seemed to be a problem child right out of the gate, right out of the box, whatever you want to call it. And right now, after the last rip, tried to get some speed. I don't even know where we were for speed. Maybe like 49 or 50 something. I don't even know how fast this thing has gone. But we're going to check into it. We're going to see what broke. We're going to see what failed. So if you're interested in watching, like I've said before, this episode from RC Guy Garage, let's rip into it. The funny thing about this car, while it never got the sticker, it definitely deserved to have this placed on the vehicle. Because I feel like in some respects, it truly was an RC Guy Garage Team Not One Pack vehicle. So I did take the battery out of here. I did place foam across the shock towers, which I feel maybe in like the Arrma Sentin, the Granite, other vehicles that doing this foam, it's not like it's some kind of like mod or anything. It's just plumber's pipe foam or pipe foam. And you just cut a section that fits in between the body pins, protects the shocks, protects kind of this area from impacts and a crash. Same thing with the rear, did the same exact thing. Piece of pipe foam, place it over here. It gave the back of the body some rigidity so that, again, in an impact, it potentially could help save this area from breakage was what I was thinking. So right now, the car will not roll. I've come across this issue before, and these vehicles are very highly known to have a motor bearing issue. So I'm gonna go with that first. I'm gonna say that the motor bearing quite possibly seized. So in order to get that out, we've got to remove the drive shaft, which is very easy because there's no bearing that supports this. So remove the drive shaft first, then we'll remove this little red piece, and then we'll try and wiggle and finagle out this whole, what they call motor and gear, I guess, module. So it comes like in modules. So this section right here is a module, ESC, with the receiver inside the box, the servo, the switch. That's all like a module that pops out once you release the servo from its arm, and then a couple screws on the bottom. And then you have, I guess they call this, I think this is called the power module, or I don't know. They're just modules. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So drive shaft first, just by pulling it back. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the drive shaft back, pop it out. Very easy to remove this setup, as it doesn't remove. I mean, it's easy, but not. Basically, you collapse the drive shaft, and you're supposed to be able to pull it out. I always have like a hard time getting these little bits and pieces out, because they kind of want to go back into place sometimes. So as I struggle to pull that drive shaft out, obviously there's nothing wrong with the drive shaft. That's not it. So pulling the drive shaft out, what this will do is this will tell me, now are we rear or front? So you can see we're still locked. So most likely, seeing that now the front is spinning 100% free, we now can say that it's definitely not the front drivetrain that's the issue. Now it can go more towards this back, to where you can see, as I turn these wheels, you can see that that wants to turn. We are getting motion, so that is telling me, like almost every one of these RC cars, the motor has failed. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pop this apart. Go after this center screw right here. That's going to allow us to remove that little red piece. And then we should just be able to maybe take like a screwdriver or whatever and pry this module back while pulling up on this tab right here. Everything about this car is more compact, so it doesn't make it as easy to kind of get in here. You've got these body mount braces that kind of are in the way. But like I said, just going to pop that screw out, and we'll see what we got. Got rocks and stuff in there. It's definitely, I want to say it's not the rear drivetrain, because the reason why I say that is because I could tell that that spur wants to move. So most likely it is the motor bearing, probably seized. So we're going to disconnect this blue wire with the fan wire. Got to be careful, because you don't want to rip anything out. Disconnect that. Go ahead and disconnect the fan wire. Yellow, orange, and at least now this stuff will be out of the way to be able to get, you know, my fingers in there a little bit better to release this this module, which I forget. Like I said, I want to say this is the power module, and this is, I don't know, the other module. So I'm going to get a screwdriver, and I'm going to kind of get it in there ready to wedge it out. So that actually did wedge out a little bit. Like I said, it's a little bit more difficult with this style just because of where these body things are. So I'm going to go ahead, get in there somehow. There we go. That kind of came out pretty easily. Probably because I haven't really driven this on that much dirt. I mean, this thing did go to diamond dust, but let's see what we're looking at. So the gear is looking fine. You can see we've got motion, but guess what? We have got zero motor motion. So I know what that's telling me right there. Now that also means I potentially did some damage here. I can see there's a certain amount of gear dust. So that gray is a gear dust from this spur gear. So, and you can see it looks like we had some diff bleeding here. I'm going to empty this out into the trash can. All right. So crack open this module. We're just going to release 1, 2, 3 screws. Allow us to pull off this plate. Or cover. Now, I'm going to get a look at this gear. Gear itself seems like it's fine. There's not many miles on it. The bearing is fine there. Check the bearing on the other side. And there's a lot of just dust in there, so I wonder, could that be slipper clutch dust, or are we talking... Now here's the other thing too that a lot of people have just discovered, is that something about these Arrma vehicles has asbestos in it. So learning that, you should really be careful, because asbestos is cancer causing. So I don't know if it's the plastic gear or if it's the clutch material. I suspect that something in the clutch material has asbestos in it. And as far as that goes, I got to tell you right now, that is not smart.
Now keep this in mind. This could be false information. I don't have accurate knowledge of this, but it's what's being said, so here you go.
So with all these rules and all these laws and all these discoveries of things, you know, just don't go licking your fingers and don't go snorting the dust. And, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it is the motor bearing. The motor bearing was locked up. So, but it is free slightly now. So I think we may have caught it kind of semi in time to where I should be able to just pop all this stuff out, take the gear off, take the motor apart, and replace the bearing that's inside. I think we might be okay. I think also I am going to go ahead and possibly go after the warranty on this, because this is an issue to where this company right here, SPEKTRUM/Horizon Hobby, do need to be held 100% accountable and liable. But if for some reason they deny your warranty, all you need to do, the bearings that you had, good going, guy, you lost the bearings. All right, well, I've got bearings for this thing, but kind of appears like I have misplaced them, and that's really not a surprise here. There we go. Right here. So in this bag, when you've got the SPEKTRUM Firma 3200 kV motor, you want to go ahead and get yourself this bearing right here. This is a TRB RC 5x16x5 motor bearing, and it comes with a package of 2. Now, there's 2 different styles that I've come across. I've come across this kind, and I've come across this kind. This one right here, this one is a precision hybrid ceramic. So the part number for this one, between these two, I'm not seeing a part number on this one for some reason. Well, the part number here is TRB-120135, and that will get you the hybrid ceramic bearings, which again is a 5x16x5, which is the one that you need. I seem to be having very good luck with these bearings. Obviously, this side right here, which is the sealed side, versus the shielded side. Sealed side you want to have facing towards the pinion, and that metal shielded side you want to have facing towards the actual rotor. So, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace it with this bearing right here. So we might just let the Vortex go for another run, I guess. I was going to part it out. All right. So we've got a clip we're going to remove. Removing those clips kind of can be a little bit of a pain, only because they like to fire off into your carpet. So what I do is I turn mine so that I can get a little scribe piece here, a little poker. Be careful. Wear gloves. Oh yeah, that bearing is toast. I'll show you in a second. So remove this little clip. That will allow you to be able to slide that bearing off, but check this out. I don't know if you could see that. That motor is junk. So, unfortunately, I did buy this from a local hobby store, Centerline Hobbies in Hyannis, Mass. And the only downside is I most likely do not have the receipt, because it's been far too long since I got this vehicle to where I don't know, I just misplaced the receipt. So that could be a bad thing. We might not be able to do a warranty. So I'm going to go ahead and just release the motor from the motor plate. It's going to be a lot of cleanup here. Because all of this, you're going to want to clean up. Yeah, look at that. Jeez. Look at all this stuff. This is possibly bearing. But I'm going to treat it like it's asbestos that it's been talked about. Just not going to snort it, and I'm not going to lick my fingers. I am going to heat up that screw right there, just in case, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to strip it. And I believe that is the 2.0. Yep. Came off nice and easy. And that's going to be hot. Not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the motor out of its heatsink fan setup. Now you can see this is diamond dust. Now this is a place that I go to with a lot of my vehicles, and this is a special, just very bad dust. So I'm going to wipe this motor down just to get it nice and clean. And then I have learned with these motors to go ahead and hit it with heat. You can hit it with heat from the top. I prefer to go right after the screw. That's a 1.5. These have a tendency to strip because there is, I've found on some of these motors, just the smallest amount of Loctite. And these little 1.5 Allen holes strip out very easily. Now you can see, yeah, you can see how bad that is. Hear that noise? Sounds like an X-Max bearing. So I'm going to say wherever Spectrum's getting their motors from, my X-Max, Traxxas, must have got their motors from the same manufacturer because it's the same exact bearing issue. That's what I'm going with. Traxxas has to source their motors from somewhere. And what I'm saying is that probably whatever factory they got these motors from, as I'm saying, is probably the same factory that the Traxxas X-Max motor came from. So there is no difference. kind of keep things together. I will end up, I think, taking this little bearing out. Kind of feels like that bearing may have gotten some grit or something in it, so I will end up taking that out, cleaning that off. So like I said, I'm going to just touch these with a little bit of heat. I'm going to have my 1.5 ready. Just touch these with a little heat. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that is going to be enough so that these don't strip out. And that is not enough. The aluminum dissipates heat really fast. And there we go. Very, very careful taking these apart here. Like I said, these strip out so easily. So I'm going to give it a touch here. Yeah, nope. There we go. I applied some inward force while doing that, just to make sure that the driver didn't slip. And I'll do the same thing on this one. Apply a inward force to it and pray that it doesn't strip. There we go. Got it. Get a little bit of a wipe down here. It's okay to touch because it's aluminum. So then you just need to get like your fingernail or something here to push out, or the other thing to do is to push down on the rotor, push in, and you can pop this cover. So inside we have got some diamond dust in there. So normally this back bearing is totally fine, in which it is. And what I've done in the past is I will take 1 drop or 2 drops of oil that I've got. I use a silicone 20 weight shock oil that I just don't use for anything else. And I'll drip like 1 or 2 drops in there just to keep this, in my mind, lubricated. Now some people have said not to do that, so I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and do that. But I will say for me, so far, it has worked. And some people have said that something about silicone shock oil, you know, possibly breaking down. And I'm not, you know what? If by the time this shock oil breaks down or whatever people are saying, shock oil has good temperature resistance. So I haven't had any issues. So I guess what I should say is don't do it. I'm still going to do it, but don't do it. I guess. I don't know. So I can go ahead and give this a push, hopefully. Slide that rotor out. Oh, man. You know what? Feels like I'm going to have to give a couple of taps. So it looks like we have 1 curved washer and a spacer. The spacer is last, the curved washer is first. I have done it in reverse a couple of times, but whatever. It's only a RC model, so we're not gonna, it's not major. So I'm gonna give this a couple of wraps. Hopefully the bearing stays with the shaft this time, because in the past it hasn't. So I'm hoping that the bearing pops out with the shaft. That'd be great. That's why I'm giving it light taps. I'm not trying to peen over the piece there. You can see it's coming out. Oh, look at that. I won. I actually won this time. The bearing, I believe, came out. Other times what has happened is the bearing wants to stay with the actual... Oh, look at that. Pieces. Oh, no. Oh. Wow. Yeah, so half of the bearing stayed inside the motor. That's the part that I was kind of hoping wouldn't happen. Because when that happens, trying to get the outer race... trying to get the outer race off the motor is not impossible. It's just really rough. Now you can see I have done some damage to the rotor. So that might either clean up or this might be complete junk. So I'm going to clean it up and see what it looks like. So all I did was I took some simple green, put it on a paper towel. Like I've always said, buy stock in paper towels. Seems like it's okay. It did rub up against the inside of the motor itself, the windings, but I think we're okay. It looks like it was just kind of maybe like a superficial, at least looking damage. I don't see like any breakthrough or any from this wrap right here, so it looks like it might be okay. It looks like it's just the wrap that kind of just got came into contact with the windings. So, yeah, dang it. So taking this off, there's a couple of ways to do this. One way is to heat this up. I'm going to put a little bit of penetrating oil on this inner race because the inner race is locked on. So there is the possibility that that's an issue. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a couple of taps holding the shaft like this, just to see if I can get that inner race off. And it looks like it's going to come off. Now, sometimes this inner race will stay on, but it seems like we're okay this time. It looks like I may have escaped any issues except for the fact that now I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick this in this foam. Because this is a pretty powerful magnet, and it likes to attract everything to it. So I'm going to use that. Take an elastic band from Game Changer. He supplies a ton of elastic bands. Or at least he used to. Just keep that nice and protected for now until I'm ready to take that race off, and I'll stick it up here. Now this is where we've got more of the issue. All the ball bearings. Some of the ball bearings looks like they disintegrated because I believe I've only got... How many came out? I think the bearings that came out of that, I think that's all I'm looking at. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearings left inside of here. The rest of the bearings just disintegrated. Now this is where the tough part is, because trying to get that inner race out is usually is really difficult. I've been able to do it, but it doesn't look the prettiest, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This motor right here, this motor is another SPEKTRUM branded motor. And this is the 3150 kV out of the... What the heck was this out of? This may have been out of the Vortex. This motor also took a dump, the front bearing. So this is the motor. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Never mind. This is a new SPEKTRUM motor that I stuck in the Vortex, I think. Oh, man. So this motor was a replacement motor that the bearing died in, I think. Oh, man, now I got to see what motor came in the Vortex. Oh, I don't remember. Is this the Vortex motor? This might be the Vortex motor. Oh no! Well, anyways, I was able to get the bearing out of this one, so it looks like crap. I've got to figure this out. So that means that this video may have to turn into a replacement of a replacement. And that's if I can even find... Oh, man. So what this is this is almost a 2 motor replacement video, I think. Because now that I'm looking at this Arrma Vortex, I'm seeing that it's got the SPEKTRUM ESC. So looking at this Vortex, I'm seeing this has got the SPEKTRUM ESC, which means this most likely is this motor. See what I'm saying about memory lately, man? All right, so I've got to somehow now contact Horizon. I have to find my receipt, and this is I'm sorry, this is the route that I'm going. Now, some people be like, Guy, you know, why don't you just replace the motor, spend a couple of bucks, replace the bearings? This is the whole thing, right? The reason why I'm doing this, number one, am I cheap? Yeah, I'm not made of money. So when I buy an RC, I expect the warranty to be a warranty when something is justified. Now, that's why I'm remembering now. So I might be screwed. I might be screwed on my warranty for my Vortex only because buying it from the local hobby store, I almost feel like they probably have no record. Like, they're an older hobby store, so I'm not thinking that their, like, receipt process is up to date. Like, you know, tracking. All right, so I think I've got to find my receipt, but then I also have to find the, I got to find the warranted motor. I got to figure out, was this the Senton? Oh, is this a Big Rock? This is probably a Big Rock motor. I have got to start writing things down. All right, so I'll be back once if I find my receipt. If I don't find my receipt, that's just one thing to remind you guys out there. Keep your receipts when you buy stuff from your local hobby store or not local hobby store, because there's not going to be any email tracking of anything, most likely, if your hobby shop is not, like, you know, updated. So that might be something to ask your hobby shop. Ask your local hobby store, the one that you go to, or your local hobby shop, the one that you go to. Ask them what type of receipt tracking process do they have, because that might be important for warranty situations where you can go to that LHS and say, unfortunately, I lost my receipt. Granted, it is up to you to keep your receipts, but I want to say that's part of the service of a local hobby store, is that if they do keep that in there, they should be able to just punch up your name or your credit card information or whatever it was, however it was purchased, and figure out that purchase, I'm going to say. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can find the receipt, but I'm fairly confident that's a no-go. So, I might be back. I might not. Either way, just get out there and rip it.
Now, I'm never gonna say that I'm some kind of informational content detective specialist or anything like that, but it is kind of funny how a post that was posted about something that might be serious was deleted from existence or whatever, however Facebook deals with stuff. Social media is a very powerful thing, so that's why even on this platform right here, I'm not saying that the statement about the asbestos and Arrma is true, because I do not have factual information. So we as content creators, we have to be careful with what we say, but stuff just comes out of my mouth, so there you go.